godt at se, at der er nogle mennesker, der gider at blive klogere. Det er jo ikke værre, det man ud af det. Det er meget morsomt faktisk, fordi jeg ved ikke, om I ved det, men i grafisk branche er der rigtig mange, der snakker omkring, at vores fremtid ligger inden for kunstig intelligens. Og som jeg siger, jeg vil være så glad den dag, jeg kommer i trykkeri, hvor der bare er almindelig intelligens. Så, vi gør det nu, at vi skal høre Jan-Olof, som skal fortælle om det mindset, der skal til for at tænke digitalt i produktioner og i den måde, som man gør tingene på, for at omstille sin forretning til det ting her. Og Jan-Olof er jo direktør for Visutech og kommer fra Sverige, så vi har besluttet os for, at vi laver det her på engelsk, for at der ikke skal være misforståelse, så vi snakker alle sammen formodentlig lige dårligt engelsk.
Som svensk.
Lige så dårligt som, ja. So, I will just try to move to English and introduce one of you are a very important person in the printing industry in Scandinavia, because I think that maybe you can answer that before you give your presentation. The first time you saw an indigo machine, the first time you met somebody who said that maybe even before Lander introduced it and it became an HP product. I guess that it must have been some challenge to believe in something that was so dramatically different from the rest of the market and invested in the technology and bring it to the Scandinavian market.
It was actually 93. IPEX 93, and I don't know why anyone was on IPEX 93. It was, it was the first time Indigo actually chose the product. It was not the final product in that time. It was a covered stand with black covers. It's had one machine inside actually feeding paper. But the concept behind Benelanda and Indigo in that time grabbed me with a big passion, for sure. And we met each other and we are still very, very close friends, even if he today tried to make a next level of digital machines with his Landa technology, with the nano machines. So yes, it was a big meeting, and we actually grabbed the agency, installed the first Indigo 94.
In 94, just imagine, we talk about digital print as something that is still, you know, we just had a conversation with Nils from NS System just a moment ago, where they said that just to make transfer print on an Indigo is still something that is new. And you sold the first Indigo machine in 94, so this is still a market that requires new thinking and new understanding on the perspectives of how pieces are operated. And I think that is something of the thing that you will talk about today, isn't it?
For sure. I mean, the mindset, it's the thing we should go through today. But coming back to the 94, we were the first channel partner for Indigo in that time. And today we are one of the biggest one, including China, which is a pretty big, I mean, competition to be the bigger than China. It's hard, but one of the biggest challenge partner to HP in today, yes, for sure. And the oldest one.
And the oldest one, and the most pretty one.
Of course, of course.
But I would also say that when Jan-Olof has his track record, just think about that it has made a career and a business opportunity for you, but just imagine how much business opportunity it has given to your customers. Because I'm the editor of English TV. One of the very first episodes we actually did was with a first mover customer of you, Jesper Boer, some of you know maybe from Dictator, and I have, you know, I fell in love with Indigo the first time I saw it, and that was with him actually. So please welcome Jan-Olof and take it away.
Thank you very much. And we should not speak so much about the machine. You have probably been on a lot of demo, you have seen a lot of machine. So my presentation today, it's not in the technical area. What I want to do, and what it's my profession, it's see transformations. I have done transformations before the Indigo. I am that old, so I was transformation on the mobile phones in the early 70, the MTD. And the second one was the home computer that we make as from the WIC 20 and WIC Commodore 64. Anyone knows about those computers? And then later on to the satellite TV that went into every man's home in the beginning of the 80s, then into the graphic market from 88. So next year we're actually celebrating the 30-year anniversary in the company. which is amazing. So what my mindset thinking is, the deeper we go, the higher we can climb. And yes, I want that you should, of course, acquiring machines, a lot of indigos, but that's not enough. That's not changing your business. You have to change your mindset to really get the benefit out of what a digital can give you and what indigo can generate to you. So disruption, as you mentioned, is one of my leading. I love the disruptions. Disruptions through technology. It's easy for me because I love technology, for sure. And we have done the digital transformation on the commercial print that have been done. It's still going on. It's growing. We are actually migrating analog printing into digital today. The next big transformation, it's actually the packaging industry, which is actually the next or the biggest transformation in the graphic ever. A passion I have is to give away this kind of information, how I'm thinking, how the mindset is very important. So I've done books through the life. The first book was actually when we starting the company 88 to understand what should I do with this kind of transformation. I need to have a vision. So that book was called the Vision Book. It was a white book meant for the employees and for myself to remember the goal of what we're doing. The second book was done 5 years ago, which was called Vision and Transformation. It was mentioned to be the 25th year anniversary book of what's happened in the last 25 years and what will happen in the next 25 years in the commercial arena. This book is here. I have a few more in the reception. If it's not enough, give us the business card and we will send them to you. We can print more of them. And the third book will be coming out next year for packaging, and that we'll call Transformation Only, but for the packaging. And the concept there, will this transformation only be a transformation or will that flip the market? And that will be a line in the book. I will give you some cliffhanger. So the transformation is something that's going in a controlled way. When there is more loser than you happen in the transformation, it's called flip the market. And flip the market, you can say internet in general. It was not a bus coming and going, that actually flipped the whole market. Transformation of digital in packaging, mainly on the flexible side, absolutely flipped the market. With a lot of reason for that in the book. So yes, we are a Nordic company, Swedish company, covering the Nordic areas. We are 62 employees. Someone told me we are 69, so I have to check the salary book later on. And we're covering Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland for sure. And we're doing the indigo, we do the inkjet, which is actually picking up water-based inkjet. And we have the Cytex for large format, and of course the latex side. To give actually our customer more tools to make more money and more profit. So the next book, 3.0, hopefully will come within a year, next November, or if you're coming to Scampack, it will be the launch of the book in Gothenburg. So sets the stage. Who is this guy? Anyone? No one? Come on. Henry Ford.
He's American, yeah.
So what did Henry Ford? He made cars, you know. But if he asked his potential customer in that time, what do they want to have as a new technology? Not the car, because the car was not there. Faster horses. You see what I'm going into? We take the next guy. This guy is no longer with us, but he also stated a thing which I think is very, very important. What did he say? Which come first, the demand or the technology? You have 50-50. Wrong. The technology needs a demand, but you didn't know about it. That was Steve Jobs' comment. So you had only 50%. You missed that. So it's happened a lot of things in the world. We actually have 7.5 billion people roughly in January 2017. Half of them, it's some kind of connections to internet. We have 37%, which is actually on the social media, and we have 66% of them is actually hooked up to the mobile and combine them, 34% are active in social media on the mobile device. That's a growth to give a playground. 10% more in 1 year of internet connections, 21% on the social media, the mobile side growing only with 5%, and the active ones, social media, mobile, is 30%. It's a huge growth into this device, which should be a cliffhanger. How will this look like in 10 years' time? This is more power in this stuff I have here than on the whole Apollo 18 project going to the moon. Crazy, huh? Keep that as a cliffhanger. How will we react? How are we reacting with new technology? To implement light, electrical light, it took 45 years when it comes to get 25% of the American market. Phones, 35 years. Radio, all more than 30 years. TV, PC, mobile phone. And the time to market is going faster and faster. And then we say, and we ask, do the time going faster now than it done in the past? Yes or no? Correct. But we feel it's going faster. And when we are older, we're feeling that the time goes even faster because we remember only the things that is new, not the things we are doing every day. That's our mindset. So, yes, information, technology giving us possibility to inform, to communicate, and also adapt new technology much faster. And this you can think about. I will come back to this later on. It's a part of the cliffhanger. So, who is positive to change in here? Who wants a change? Normally everybody is up with their hands. This is a market that didn't change. It took them 50 years to grow the newspaper market, and we destroyed the newspaper market in a few years. Even if you're including the digital part of newspaper, that's gone. It's only one example. Because this is what I normally see on stage. Everybody say, yes, change is good. But they don't want to change themselves. That's not same popularity in that word. And there is one even worse thing. To lead a change, everybody gone. And this is a part of what we need to do when we are actually changing the business model where digital comes into the place, because you cannot have the same business model with digital in combination with the analog. Sorry, that time is gone. Horses, we don't need them anymore. You need to be brave to do this. Another word, we call it courage. And the early adapters have courage, or someone called them stupid, or whatever they're calling them. But this is an important thing. What's come with the courage? Courage is like being on the gym. It's a muscle. You're not brave or not brave. You have to train this. And with training comes knowing. When you have knowing to do the change, you actually can do it. And if you don't continue to train, you don't get any muscle left. That's gone. It's not like playing golf. If you train it once, you can do it the whole life. It's not the same thing, or biking or whatever. This is an example from label side. I could take it from the commercial side, whatever. This is the job length of an average job in feet or meter from 2006 to 2014. Commercial print, packaging, no different. And if you continue with this line, which we have done here, I don't think it will go down to 0, but it can go down to 1 of the digital. And that's the development. So when you're going back, commercial printer, do we have any commercial printer in here? Only? No. If you are a commercial printer, go back and see how is your average run length today, last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and drag a line. You will come to the same conclusion, more or less. So, asking about consolidation. Graphic market consolidate heavily. It's not so many new printers coming up. If there is one, I want to know them because I cannot find them. So asking brand owners about 10 million euro in turnover. How many suppliers do they have in the graphic industry to make communication for them? Roughly for that size, it's 15. I have to rush a little bit in this case. Tomorrow or in 5 years, you will find them only be 5 left. So if you are a supplier to the brand owners, do you want to be one of the 10 or do you want to be one of the 5? Your choice, because you have to following your brand owners or your customer in this case. So there is no chain stronger than the weakest chain link, for sure. We have to make a new business model. The supply chain, you have to go through your customer supply chain when it comes to delivering time, when it comes to how to support them, and when it comes also to make them delighting what they get, the value of the things you are actually shipping to them, supporting them with. Should we do more things? Should we do it better? Or how should it look like? So digital. I'm not sure I can do it in 5 minutes. You're stealing my minutes in the beginning. So this was the short agenda that I will end up with, I have to say. Sorry for that. HP don't only produce a lot of nice machines. We also enable you as a customer to make business with this kind of equipment. And we don't do it alone. We do it with a lot of partners, the biggest network in the world. Because putting color on an ink on a paper or a plastic, it's not the whole story. We need to build a complete product in the end. So how are we doing that? I have to rush a little bit in this. It's not only the print, it's not only the package, it's not only the social media. We call it also the omni-channel marketing, which is the way we have to learn how to do the marketing, and we have to give that value to our customer, how to do that. That's including electronically marketing as well as physically with print marketing. So, trends. This is one of my favorite things because, again, customers are different, and specifically generations have different needs. So wherever you are a millennium or boomer, Generation X, or a silent, or we call also the millennium, the Generation Y, they have different needs and demands. The new generation, which is the Generation Y, it's the me generation. And wondering what's happened with the last generation because the alphabet is stopping on Z. And that generation is on the way in to get money to buy products that we need to communicate with. And that's the next story. What's happened after Generation X? The paradigm shift comes in. So we start with A again, which is nice. I'll rush this a little bit. This is an important slide. I hope I had some more time. This is a product lifetime. The launch of a product, the life cycle of a product, in the packaging area, we say repeat of production to the end of the phase of the product. In the 1980s, it was 2.25. This is in the food industry. 1990 is 1.67 years. 2000 is 1.8. Today it's 0.62. Ladies and gentlemen, what is it tomorrow? That means number of jobs. SKU, we call it in the package arena. It's shorter and shorter, faster and faster. We have to change, we have to make new kind of measuring that this is enormous time, we will say, when we're coming into the next phase. So this is the natural way, the life cycle, the batch sizes, the turnarounds going down per order, the personalization grows, editing, variations of product is growing. We talked earlier with packaging side, with a one language on the label or on the packaging instead of have 4, 5, 6 languages on the same. It's actually coming a law forbidding to have smaller size than you can read. Like spice labels, you need to have a monocular to read this. So that means even if we print a hell of a lot of print, we also increasing a lot of jobs. That means that we need to have the workflow to feed the machine with all the jobs. The small difference, the orders, the needs that the customer have. So we want to simplify this. And we actually say, combine the digital with the analog. It's not meaning that you can run the digital as you run the analog. Sorry, too many have done that, no effect. If you're doing that together, you still have to change your business model and adopt also the analog side into the digital for sure. So this is how it looks today. The ordered jobs, here is where the most of the profit is for an analog, no profit in the small area. When it comes to the new, split it up and you will increase your profitability both for the digital and the analog because you get a lot of space in your analog machine when you actually print a short one in the digital. And you have a win-win situation. To take away from here, fill the buckets. And this is why you need to change your business model, both on the analog side and on the digital side. Otherwise, there will be no business in this arena. I have to skip that to save some time. So going from making a lot of print looks the same, make a lot of prints, but make them different. That's increasing the value of what you're actually giving to the customer. And the key word for this is add value. Before we just standing up, who knows who this is? Anyone? Charles Darwin. What did Charles Darwin say? It's not the strongest one, it's not the weakest one. It's actually the one who adopts the response of change. So yes, we can use newspaper in an iPad, for which we have seen. That's why the newspaper market going down, but we can never fill a liter of milk in an iPad. I have tried, it's not working. So when should we actually plant a tree? That should be done 10 years ago. The second best time is to do it today. Cliffhanger, my last slide. What is this? This is not the next generation of phone, but this is a generation of phone later on that we put it into the lens. There is a working example in the lab that you have a full mobile phone in your lens and you don't need to carrying this fully computer in your pocket. It takes another 10 years. Then you don't need this. I will be happy. My suit will be happy that I don't have these heavy things. So Visutech will have an anniversary next year, 30 years, and thank you for listening.
See, I feel very, very embarrassed now because I have stolen Jan-Olof's time, and you're the one that pays the bills. I mean, how difficult as a position am I in right now, right? Well, I think it was really nice to hear your thoughts about the future. One of the things that are, or actually also for the current time, right? One of the things that I am quite interested in trying to understand is how do you, as let's say that you are a commercial printer or packaging printer, how do you get into the mindset and make sure that you can transform your business to have this understanding that you are talking about?
If I always said it again, if there's one recipe to change your business model, I would probably have the Nobel Prize. But there is one in each for every of you and for every customer. So the only thing is you have to have the dialogue with the customer, not a monologue with your customer. You have to asking the customer, what can I do more to get you more, and learning the customer's need. Don't come in and don't know about what you should do, and do it with your existing customer. Don't try to steal your competitor customer first, because you have to be cheaper, and then you're lowering the price and your profit, and that's 3 times more expensive than develop your existing customer. If you can develop the existing customer, making a relation means dialogue, and actually going through this kind of nice tools that we have today with digital, I will be sure that they will be glad to connect with you. When you connect with a customer, it's harder to lose them. And that's where the profit comes, where the relation comes. And this is a journey. I call it the mental journey. I have a big chapter in the books talking about the mental journey. It's not a journey to buy a machine and say, fine, I have the machine, I've done the transformation. Come on guys, print. It's not working. You need to go through this in a parallel with the tools. The tools needs to be there for sure to support the customer. But if you don't have this dialogue with the customer, take not the biggest one you have, but take the one that you actually have as the best relation with, and ask him. Put the question up. How can we do this to make better value to you and more profit for me? Sorry. And when you're doing one, you're doing two, you can start to do sisters and brothers. Sisters and brothers is also a chapter in the book, of course. How you're grabbing the best things that fits into another customer. And then you're building this as a cooperation with your customer. If you don't do that cooperation with the customer, you're not adding value, and he will go somewhere else where he can get this kind of communication. And I believe strongly of this consolidation, not only in the graphic market, but also on the brand owners. They will have less customers or less supplier in the 5 years. It's harder maybe than I've said, 15 to 5. So it's up to you to choose whatever you would be, one of the 10 or one of the 5, because this is where the brand owners go. And where do the brand owners go? Who controls them? Consumer. And I can take the repeated the Coca-Cola project and things like that. It's marvelous how that drives in communication with the consumer. That integration, it's the key. Sorry.
I think it's so cool, and I am so sad that I have to stop you, because a lot of people have our expectations as well. But a final note I would like to add on a personal thing is just imagine, and now we've been listening to you for 20 minutes, we've been talking a little bit on and off, but just imagine how little you have actually talked about trying to sell anything, even to mention brands. Because what you're doing, and what I think is also the essence of Visutech Academy, is about sharing information, give inspiration for how to be inspired for your own businesses. And I think that is the essence of the Academy, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is a giving back. What we get from customers, we're giving back. And asking the question, the transformation itself, that's my passion, my life, but where comes all the data from? I have a supplier called Hewlett Packard. I have all access to all kind of statistics, like many of the employees in HP have, but I don't reading it. I'm stupid enough to go through all of this statistic and use them as facts in the book. I have not developed any facts in the books. I get it from HP, free of charge. And I want to share these facts in a Nordic or Danish or in Swedish way, not in American way only. Even if all statistic is not available only for Denmark or Nordic. But this is a way of giving these things back.
Sorry, thank you very much, and please give a warm hand to Jan-Olof.